Boy, that would be cool. That's what you call life casting.
Yeah, we should do that. And so whenever you want to start, just give it a little break and I'll edit out. We can start.
Got it. Well, Happy New Year, right?
Happy
That's
New
what we should
Year.
say. Happy New Year,
Happy
right?
New Year.
Happy New
Okay.
Year.
I'm going to pause and then I'll give the real start here. Happy New Year. It's time for Westside Technology Declassified, where we discuss the inner workings of technology operations at District 66. This is episode number 10, recorded January 25th, 2017. Matt Lee and Greg Betts are here with me again, and we're going to be focusing, among other things, on some taken for granted tips, the new Google contacts, some lynda.com courses of the week, some Keynote tips, and an audible.com recommendation. Hello, gentlemen. How are you doing today?
Hey, doing great. I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but I got these new 3D glasses, so I'm going to be watching our podcast in 3D today.
Hey, Greg, I see you in 3D. That's pretty cool.
Oh, you got yours on, Matt?
Of course I have mine on. What a better way to start the new year than just living in a virtual reality world.
I know. I kind of like it. It's pretty awesome.
It is. Do you want to maybe explain to our audience here what these are and why we're looking through them?
Sure.
And explain why I didn't get one.
So these are the new virtual reality is kind of the big craze right now. And Knox Labs makes this cardboard version that's very inexpensive, works really, really well. And I'm going to put mine up close here. As you can see on mine, I've covered it with a masking tape or packing tape. Because the only downside to the cardboard version, even though the cost is great, is that it starts to leave a little oily spot. And if you use these for multiple different people, you want to be able to clean that off. So putting some masking tape on or packing tape seems to have done the trick. So thank you, Jeff Ingram from ESU3 for that tip.
Yeah, and I would just throw in there, these, I think, got them online. You can buy them on eBay. You can buy lots of places, Google Cardboard. I think they were less than $5 a piece, so not too bad. And they work with any cell phone. So your iPhone will fit in there, your Android phone will fit in there. And then it has a QR code that if you download the Google Cardboard app, you can scan it, and then it lets the app know what set of goggles you have, and it customizes it accordingly. So kind of pretty cool. You can go check them out and use them with your phone. And I would throw out there, ESU3 and Jeff Ingram in particular has offered to come in and do demos. They have a set of 10 of these complete with the phones that go inside of them. And so Bridget Brown and myself have been going around to the different elementaries, and we have people signing up. And we're actually bringing expeditions and virtual reality into classrooms. So if you're interested, we're starting with the elementaries. You can check out the tech days that we have, the sign-up sheets that have been sent out for, and you can sign up. So kind of a cool experience we can offer.
Yep. And they come with this really cool cardboard case. So to keep your cardboard glasses safe, you put them in this easy-to-use cardboard safety case. Pretty nice.
Nice.
Pretty nice.
So I think next up we had some taken for granted tips from Paul. Paul, do you want to tell us maybe about some things that maybe are kind of reminders?
The thing that I'm thinking about is that for maybe Matt and Greg and I, there are things that we do every day on a regular basis that it's become automatic. We don't even think about it anymore. Encounter people that will not even have any idea how to do a simple task that we really take for granted. So that's the idea of the taken for granted tip here. And the first one that I'm going to do, and I need to figure out how to do screen sharing, right, Matt?
Yep, that could be our first tip. No.
Yeah. So where's my Google window?
On the left side,
yeah,
it says screen share.
I actually closed my window there. I'm sorry. There we go, screen share. And that is the one I want to share. So are you seeing my screen now?
We are.
Sorry, the dumb tech director, sometimes there are other things that are not automatic to him. Sometimes I need that. So the first thing is that everyone is aware that their Mac has a dock. So if we look at the bottom of the screen there, does it even show up on the screen sharing, guys, the dock?
Well, hold on there, Paul. Go back to your dock.
Yes.
What was that icon about 4 to the right?
This
It looked
one?
like a globe?
4 to the right. This one?
No, I'm just giving you a hard time. The first class icon.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, sure.
I was
You can
just giving
actually
you a hard
see
time
that,
about
right?
using first class.
Yeah, well, occasionally there is demand for that, so.
That's okay. I'll cut this part out.
No.
I'm guessing that's dwindling the call for first class.
Okay, so that's actually a good point, Matt, and you can leave in whatever you want. But the first thing, you all have a dock. Some of you have it in the bottom, and it's also possible to switch it to on your left or your right. But what you can do is, if you have an item such as first class that you don't really use anymore, that you want to remove from your dock, it's very easy to get it out. But some people don't know how to do that. So if you click on the item in your dock and simply move it out, it should just poof into a cloud of dust and be gone. And now it's gone. So all you need to do to get something out of your dock is to pull it out, and it'll disappear. Now, if you have an application running, it's always going to be in your dock.
And I think the key thing, Paul, is you got to pull it out until it says remove, because if you
Right.
pull it out and let it go before that, it'll bounce back. So I know some people get frustrated because they didn't drag it far enough.
So let's do another one here. Here, SeaMonkey is another app that I'm not going to use very often, but just going to go ahead and click on it, drag it out, and then when it says remove, then it disappears. It used to have a nice little cloud poofy thing disappearing, but mine doesn't.
Hey, another quick tip that you might show is, it looks like when you move your mouse down, the dock shows up, but it's not always
Right.
there. How do you do that?
Right. Okay, so if we go to, used to be dock preferences, system preferences, and then dock. You can have a lot of things in your dock where you can specify. Here's where you can position it on the left or the right or the bottom. You can go minimize. You can turn on magnification, whether it's big or small. And then here's the one that Matt was talking about, automatically hide and show the dock. You can uncheck that, and then it is always there. So in the system preferences, there's a lot of different things that you can do to play around with. The genie effect is where you zoom, I think, and it magnifies in. But there's a lot of different things that you can do to customize that to your choice. So let me show, for example, in my applications here. Say we just take an item, anything that's in my applications folder, and let me review. On my hard drive, I opened up a window, and then I clicked on my applications folder, and that's where my applications actually reside. And say I want to take one of those items, I can click on it, hold, drag down to my dock. Why isn't that? You don't need to cut that out. Why am I not dragging? There we go. And then usually it'll make room for it and put that in. So any app at all that you have in your applications, you can go in, click on it, begin to drag it, bring it down to your dock, and then it'll stay there for always until you pull it out, like I showed before. Okay, so that's one of my tips today. The other thing is, I just want to show in Chrome, I ran into someone recently that was not familiar even with the concept of a tab in Chrome. So when you're in Chrome, such as in your email, if you go to the File menu, you can go New Tab, or you can use the Command-T shortcut to create a new tab. And from here, you can go ahead and do Whatever you would want to do another Google search, my standard is always tornadoes. But just like, yeah, you don't have to close out of your email. You can keep that going and just switch back tabs at a time. It's probably something that everybody, many of you do, but just something that I ran into someone that didn't know that, so I want to share it to make sure that there's nobody else that has missed that item that we just take for granted. So thanks, that's what I was going to show.
Very cool. Thank you, Paul. All right. Let's see here. Next up, I wanted to just show a couple different things here for people. The first thing I wanted to mention was if you have not yet had a chance to take a look at Apple Teacher, I would highly encourage you to do so. And you can find out more about Apple Teacher at area66.westside66.org. And once you're there, on the left-hand side, it says Apple Teachers at Westside. And then you can click and scroll down, learn more about the program. You have a link to go to sign up. And then underneath it, you'll see kind of a leaderboard of everybody in the district who has completed their Apple Teacher certification. So right now you can see we have 14 staff members, and our goal is to try to get as many staff members as possible Apple Teacher certified. So check that out on Area 66. It's a great way to improve and learn new things about all sorts of Apple products. So that's kind of a first little promo here. The next thing I wanted to show was something brand new to our district as of last night. So I don't know if Greg has even seen this yet, but we have now switched over to the new Google Contacts. So you'll notice that the old Google Contacts look like the old Gmail, and now these new Google Contacts look more similar to what Google Inbox and some of the new Google services look like. So just to kind of show you around a little bit, you can access Google Contacts by going to contacts.google.com, or if you're in your email, on the left-hand side here, it says Contacts, and you can click on that, and that will take you to the Contacts page. So just to kind of give you an overview, all contacts, it shows people you frequently contacted on the top, and then the balance of your contacts on the bottom. Groups are like email lists, just like they were before, and it makes it very quick and easy just to hit new group, and I can say podcast list. I can create that group, and now I can come down here and add a person. So maybe I'll go Betts. Oh, here I'll go Greg Betts. Oh, right here's Greg Betts. I will add him, and let me go Paul Lindgren, and I'll add Paul to it. So I can build my mailing list that way. So that makes it super easy. The other thing is there's the directory. And so if you click directory, this will show you every email account of everybody in the Westside School District. So if you're looking for somebody, it's organized alphabetically. If you see on the right-hand side, it goes through. And so if I want to find somebody with the last name starting with a J, or sorry, first name starting with a J, it'll show up and I can look through it. And of course, since it's Google, search is also built in. And so I can search for anyone and it'll go through and show me that person. The last little bit that I'll show, actually two last little pieces, find duplicates is really powerful. The first time you open up the new contacts, it'll go through and identify people that you might have in your contacts multiple times. So if you have the same person with maybe one contact entry has their email address, another contact entry has their telephone number, this will go through, find it, and allow you to merge those two people into one. So it really helps clean up what your screen looks like. And then the last little bit, if I click more, it does, you can look through these and take a look at them, but I do want to highlight here where it says leave contacts preview. So if you start to use the Google Contacts, how it looks now, and you decide it's not for you, or there's something that you're unable to do yet, you can always leave it and go back into the old way for the time being. So if you don't like this and you're finding things that you can't do with it, you can switch back for the time being. Eventually, Google will force you to migrate to this one, but for the next few months, you can go back and use the old way if that's what you prefer. So that's just a quick overview of the brand new Google Contacts. So Greg, Paul, what do you guys think of the new Google Contacts?
It looks pretty clean, Matt. What was your learning curve going to the new platform?
For what most people do with contacts, there's nothing. I mean, because it's super easy on that left-hand side to say all contacts or frequent contacts or see your groups. I would say the only thing that might be a little tricky is in the groups. If you want to send an email to a group, the easiest way is to click on the group you want to email, click a check mark, and then you can come up here to select all. And then you go over to the three dots, and you can either start an email to all of them or start a group hangout chat to all of them. So if I go email, it's going to pop up here and present me with an email message to the people in that group. So that was probably the only tricky thing that I saw, was how to email group lists from the contacts.
So is there anything?
Will my current lists and groups migrate over to this, or will I have to create all new?
Your list will all migrate over.
Great.
This is just an empty account because we wanted to try to avoid broadcasting as many people's email addresses as possible.
Got it.
Matt, are there any tips or clarifications we need to provide to teachers that are going to that frequently use emails to communicate with their students? Is there anything different, the way they would manage those contacts?
Nope.
Is it pretty much just the same?
Those are the same. Yep. So how I showed on how to build a group, if you need to build a new one, it would work that way. If you already have your existing groups created, those migrate over without a problem.
Okay, sounds good.
And if you're still using the traditional Gmail view, nothing at all changes for you. You can still email your contact lists from the old Gmail, and that works. If you've switched to Inbox by Google, you would need to go into the contacts here to email a group list. That's one of the things that they don't have in Inbox yet, but it makes the new contacts make it really easy to do.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So now, Greg, you were talking about some badges. Have you earned some badges?
Oh, finally I got some badges. Yeah, I got a couple things to talk about.
We do need some stinking badges.
Yeah, we need some badges. So, one of the craves, in the last few years has been badges or recognizing people's accomplishments for things that they've done, or certain markers for reaching levels, mostly on a virtual level. One of the nice features with us having LinkedIn and lynda.com together is that any courses you finish or complete on lynda.com, it gives you a badge of completion. And you have the opportunity then to go down and share that on your LinkedIn page. So I went in yesterday and shared some of the courses that I've completed on my LinkedIn, and it's a pretty nice feature. So it gives you a badge that you can share with everyone. So continuing with lynda.com, the one I'm going to talk about today is Becoming a Thought Leader by Dave Crenshaw. It was under an hour. My experience with any of these under an hour, it is usually very structured and systematic to give you an overview of the idea, and then gives you lots of other tips if you would like to take any of those ideas and go deeper. So Becoming a Thought Leader by Dave Crenshaw was worth my 50 minutes to watch that show, and I got a badge of completion. So that was what
really matters, right?
That is what really matters. Also, a professional learning update. We got ours canceled in January because of a snow day. So upcoming on February 20th, we're looking to have our now first professional learning day of 2017. And we have over 30 sessions that we'll be offering to people, and we will be pushing that schedule out probably the beginning of the second week of February. That looks really good. And today is National or not, I shouldn't say national. It is Nebraska I Love Public Schools Day. And this is a day devoted to engaging all citizens in Nebraska to celebrate teachers, students, and public school communities. So if you are on Twitter, you can get on hashtag I Love Public Schools Day, all one word, no spaces, to tweet or see what other schools are tweeting about today.
Very cool. Thank you, Greg.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hey, I'd like to bop in with a lynda.com course that I'm watching. I throw it on my TV when I come into the office and kind of catch a little bit here and there, but I'm really interested in going through the whole thing. It uses Adobe Illustrator, which is a piece of software that our staff have access to, but it is called What Makes a Good Logo? Logo Design Techniques is the name of the class, Logo Design Techniques. And it's really fun, and I could see that it would, even if we didn't have students using the Adobe Illustrator part, some of the good ideas of what makes a good logo, and it'd just be a fun activity. Because there's many times when you want to do a new project or an activity where a logo is fun to do, either for shirts or for whatever. But I found this to be a very interesting course, and it motivated me to want to learn Adobe Illustrator.
And you know what's really funny, Paul? I'm looking over, and Bridget is taking that course right now.
Excellent. Ask her, is it a good course?
Is it a good course? She says it's a very good course. All right. So the last little bit that I wanted to show one more quick tip, and this one involves Keynote. So let me show you here. So this is an example of one of the Keynote slides. And so if you think back, last time we talked a little bit about Instant Alpha and a few other quick Keynote tips and tricks. I want to show you just really quickly how I made a slide that looks like this. So one of the things that you can do with your Keynote slides is to use some kind of infographics to help convey your point. And so here's a slide that shows 67% of students felt that they got to make choices in their learning throughout the day. And while that number might be kind of hard for people to understand, being able to see it in a visual helps them to make it easier. And so I wanted to show how I made this guy in particular, where he was red, or she was red up to a point and then was gray after that. So that takes advantage of something in Keynote called cropping. And so you can see over here, I have kind of a half and half and a half and half. This graphic is actually made up of two different graphics that I've placed on top of each other and then cropped it down to hide the part that I don't want to see. So let me show you how to do that. So if I come over here, I can select this shape, and so any shape or picture will work. I can drag, let me center these here real quick. I can drag this over on top, and now if I want the red to be on top, this is another quick tip. If I hold down Control and click on that, I can select either bring to front or send to back. I'll send that to the back, and then that brings the red more to the front. And then to crop it, all I need to do is double click, and now you'll notice that I have these black bars or these black boxes on the outside of it. I can click on that, and when I drag it down and then hit done, that's going to hide that part of the image, and it's going to show what's behind it. So you might do that for something like this, where I wanted to take this. Oh, those aren't the same size, so I can drag with the white boxes to make it the same size. Nope, a little bit more. There we go. Then if I double click on it, I can drag that down, and you'll see it showing what's behind it. And then when I hit done, now I have my graphic. So that's handy if there's something on the edge of an image that you don't want. You can double click it and drag that in to hide that. Or if you're trying to make an infographic, you can always do it like this, where you layer two different colors of the same image on top of each other and then crop it to drag it down. So that was just a quick Keynote tip of the week, cropping images to create infographics.
And a good way to show like 7 out of 8, right?
Exactly. Yep. So you could do 7 out of 8, 6 out of 10. Yep. You can do a lot of different things with the whole idea of, putting 2 of the same thing with different colors on top of each other, and then being able to pull that down.
Yeah, very cool. I mean, it just makes a very clean image to show percentages without actually putting the percentage up there. So that's great trick.
Yep. And cropping, you can use
Thanks
that
for
with
showing us
any
that.
image, any image in Keynote.
Excellent. Well, Greg, I think one of our last things we're going to do is you're going to share a little bit about an audible.com book that you've recently listened to or read, depending on how you want to term that.
Or haven't started yet.
Okay.
So Paul, you and I and Matt, Paul, you got us started on audible.com, which I love because I don't always have time to read, and sometimes I have more time, it seems, to listen to books. So the book I'm going to be starting is Grit by Angela Duckworth. And next time we meet, I will be giving a report on that book. So just wanted to kind of just a start to the preview of what will be coming next time. Paul or Matt, you have any books that you guys have completed recently?
I'm just starting to re-listen to a book by Jeff Hawkins, who is not a household name right now, but he was the one that originally invented and created the original Palm Pilot.
Oh.
But his first love is brain research and brain theory. And a book that I'm starting to listen to for probably the 4th or 5th time is called On Intelligence. And he talks about his understanding of how the brain works fundamentally. And it's a little bit different than maybe the mainstream, but it really, really makes a lot of sense. And I highly recommend that book. It is so interesting. And it just makes so much sense about how the brain is basically just a pattern matching machine. That is how it learns. So it's really interesting.
Very cool. And I was inspired by a previous pick of the week, and I'm going to start the Lead with the Story book that, Greg, you recommended. Was it the last podcast or 2 podcasts ago?
It was, and Paul and I just talked about that book probably an hour ago, just about the importance of any meetings. If you have the opportunity to lead with a story, it hooks your audience in a lot more with the direction that you're trying to go. So highly recommend Lead with a Story.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading it.
Okay. Well, any other things that we need to share with staff? Remember, don't share your password. Don't click on attachments that you don't know where they came from, and be very careful if you have a Google login screen come up unexpectedly. Don't just throw your password and login in unless you have checked very carefully to make sure that login screen isn't coming from a server in Russia or something like that.
Especially when you're already logged into Google. Something to be leery about when it's asking you to log in again when you're already logged in. Very, very interesting.
Yes. The world is becoming a dangerous place online, and there's more and more criminals that are trying to steal your email. And you may think that it's not a big deal, but your email is where you probably can use that to reset many of your other accounts, like your credit card account or your bank account, your online account. A lot of those can be reset through your email. So it is really, really critical to be careful about keeping track of that email password and making sure you don't let that get out to a miscreant.
Yeah, I use mine to reset my password when I forget it from my Paul Lindgren fan club site. It's one of my favorites.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Well, folks, thanks for listening, and thanks, guys, for participating. And it's our first one of the new year, 2017. And hope we have a great year, and hope all our listeners do as well, and viewers.
All right, fellas, stay safe today with that snow out there.
Yep.
Have
a good one.
Bye.
All right, you too. Bye.
All right, good job.
I think we should end like this. Deuces.
We should have ended like high five.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and what about me?
You're our last
Paul?
holdout of actual reality, Paul. Greg and I have left to go to the virtual
I would just
world.
do this, you know.
All right, fellas, great show. That was good.
Cool.
I got some other people here leaning out my door and giving me posties. I need to go see them, so I better go do that.
All right.
Okay. Bye.
All right, talk to you later. Bye.